Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be filming my birth story. This is my last time doing this video. I cannot believe it. I remember filming Emma's birth story at our old house, like on the living room floor, and it was so quiet in the house, and now I'm trying to find a pocket of quiet peace time to film this baby's. I think I filmed the boys' birth story in this exact spot too, but the boys are outside playing with daddy and Emma is drawing, so I figured now's a good time to try and get this done. But yeah, this is my last birth story, which is so sad, but also like it's an exciting time to like close that door and open a new chapter. So it's like it's sad, but it's also really happy. I am 10 days postpartum right now, so I'm filming this pretty early on compared to I think the rest of mine, but my brain is kind of like fried from the last couple of days, and I feel like I'm gonna forget a lot of stuff if I wait too long to film this birth story. So I'm gonna try and do it as early as I can, and I'm 10 days postpartum, so hopefully I remember about as much as I possibly can. So it really started a couple days before I actually went into labor. I ended up going to the labor and delivery department a couple days before I give birth. I want to say it was like the 9th. It was a Saturday. I went in because I was having some contractions. They weren't super consistent, but with my boys, I also had inconsistent contractions and I was in active labor and didn't even realize it. So I've just been trying to stay on top of it. My doctor said if I felt anything to kind of check it out and come in, because I did go into labor early with the twins. So I went in on a Saturday night. They checked me and I was only, I think I was 2 centimeters dilated, 50% effaced, but my contractions had slowed down and I wasn't in active labor, so they sent me home. The next couple days things died down quite a bit and I was just planning on waiting to go into labor on my own. I didn't want to be induced for a VBAC, so I was just hoping I was going to go into labor on my own before 40 weeks. And then the night I was 39 plus 1 days pregnant, which was Tuesday night, Justin actually was at work that whole night. He was getting home, I think, for the day at like 10 p.m. So I waited for him to get home. I was having contractions, but they weren't like super painful, and they also were again not super consistent. I wasn't even timing them because Justin was asking me if I was timing my contractions, and I was like, they're not close enough to time. Like they're very random, like anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes apart. So when he got home around 10 o'clock, I just kind of waited it out. I decided to go to bed around 10:30. I remember because he was playing a video game at his desk, and I was like, I'm just gonna try and close my eyes. I don't think I'm in labor. So around 10:30, I probably fell asleep. I woke up around midnight. I think it was like 12:15, and I woke up because I was having contractions again, but I realized they were still like 7 to 9 minutes apart. They weren't much closer together, maybe 6 to 9 minutes apart, but the difference was they were really painful. They were to the point where I couldn't sleep anymore because they were wrapping around to my lower back, and I just realized like these are more intense than any other contractions I've had this pregnancy. I've had uncomfortable contractions, but these were starting to hurt to the point where I wasn't even able to fall back asleep. So around 12:30, I want to say, I finally was like, okay, I think I need to go get checked. So I woke Justin up because I wanted to drive myself to the hospital because we have 3 kids at home, and I didn't want it to be false labor, to have some babysitter come watch the kids and then get sent home. It just seemed like a lot more work than it was worth. So I decided to just go into the hospital by myself. I only had a couple contractions on the drive over, thankfully. I didn't have to pull over or anything. And I got to the hospital, I think it was around 2, so maybe my timing's a little off. I remember in the birth vlog, I'm already forgetting things. I want to say it was closer to 2, so maybe I woke up around 12:30 but didn't go to the hospital until closer to 2 o'clock. I probably tried to ride it out for a little bit at home before I realized that they were really painful. I got to the hospital around 2 o'clock, checked into labor and delivery, and I was still having pretty consistent contractions. By that point, they were more like 6 to 8 minutes apart. So again, they're not at the point where you're even supposed to like go to the hospital, but they were really painful. When I got there, they checked me and I was 3 centimeters dilated. She said I was between a 3 and a 4. So she said, we'll call it a 3, but we'll check you again in an hour and see if you're at a 4. So she called it a 3 and 80% effaced. And then I stayed there for 1 hour on the monitors while they just let me like rest and see if things would die down. But when they checked me at 1 hour, I was 4 centimeters dilated and I think a little bit more effaced. So they were like, okay, we're just gonna admit you're clearly like progressing on your own. You were just here on Saturday, only 2 centimeters, and now you're at a 4. I won't call it active labor. I think active labor starts at 6 centimeters, but you're close enough where I think we're gonna admit you. And thank God they did, because if they hadn't, I would have had to just come back later that day. So I called Justin. We have our friend Kaylee come stay at the house with the kids and her husband Patrick, and he meets me at the hospital. I forget what time he got there. I want to say it was like a little before 7 o'clock. They gave me my epidural right when he got there, which if you guys have been watching my vlogs, you know that that did not go over too well. Like, it actually worked this time. However, it was placed, something happened when it was placed. Ended up needing to get a blood patch later on because I leaked like epidural fluid or something. So, but regardless, I was able to get my epidural this time, which helped a lot with the pain with the contractions, especially while I was progressing. So between 7 and 11, we just let my body naturally progress. We didn't do Pitocin, we didn't do anything, which was really cool because with all of the other pregnancies, with Bryn and Emma, I was induced, and with the twins, I just went in for, I was in labor, but they just put in a spinal and I just went into a C-section. I didn't get to progress or do anything on my own ever. This was my first time where my body actually just like did what it's supposed to do, which was really cool. So between 7 and 11, my body just naturally progressed. They were checking me every couple of hours and I was going from 4 to 6, but at 11:30 they checked me and I was at a 10 already. And I was feeling it because this girl was sunny side up, meaning that like the back of her head was hitting my back and I had back labor and it was really painful. They brought in a peanut ball to try and put between my legs to see if that could get her to flip a little bit and put my legs in like the stirrups. They even tried getting me on my hands and knees and putting like a ball underneath me to see if that would help shift her position, but unfortunately it did not help because she came out, they said like literally she didn't flip until she was basically already out. So that's probably why I had pretty bad back pain combined with the blood patch, combined with the epidural after I gave birth. It was still like a very fast labor because I progressed so quickly. I don't know if that's because I wasn't induced, that it wasn't as like slow. So between 11:30 and 12:30, she was born at 12:33 p.m. things just got really painful, and because I was in back labor, because she was sunny side up, because I was just fully dilated, things started to get very painful. We almost missed capturing the birth because we didn't think she was coming out yet. They said she was at a station like 2, and she had to drop still for a bit. Even though I was 10 centimeters dilated, she was still pretty high up. So we didn't think she was coming right away, but they did page the doctor, my doctor, to come because they knew I was in excruciating pain and I was feeling the need to push. And I couldn't tell I needed to push. I told her I felt like I needed to pee, but that was me needing to push. So they called the doctor in, but unfortunately she came so quickly after I said that the doctor didn't even, my doctor didn't even make it to her birth, which is such a bummer because he has delivered all of my other children and I adore him, but he walked in the room like 2 minutes after I had already pushed her out. He missed it because she came so quickly. There was another doctor in the room, but again, they didn't think that she was coming out that quickly, so the nurse ended up catching her when she came out. The nurse, if you watch our birth vlog, you can see the nurse is the only one there at the bedside to catch her when she came out, because she came out so quickly from a station 2 to literally coming out. I don't know how that happened, and in one push. So she was just ready. The coolest part was that she told me that she came out en caul, and I don't know, I wish I could go ask her, the nurse, because I didn't get to see it because I was laying on my back, the angle. If it popped, like, if you don't know what en caul is, I didn't either. It's when they come out in the sac, which is so cool. I looked it up after she told me about it because I've never seen it before, and I so wish I could have seen it. I couldn't have shown it, but just personally, I wish I could have watched what that would have looked like, but I didn't ask her in the moment because I didn't know if they ended up popping the sac when she came out or if it popped really quickly after she came out, because they said it looked like a water balloon came out first and they expected it to pop, and that's why the doctor didn't run to the bedside, but it didn't, and it ended up just all coming out with her. And I'm very curious to know, because she was born en caul, if they popped it very shortly after she popped out or if it just burst like almost right after she came out fully in the sac. I wish I could know, but I won't be able to go and ask that nurse, obviously. But how crazy is that? I'm so bummed that I missed it. I wish I had had like a mirror or something to see it, which sounds weird, but I really wish I could have seen that. Overall, I probably couldn't have asked for a better birthing experience with her. The only thing that was really hard was the fact that she was sunny side up and how bad my back was hurting. Just like progressed on her own naturally. Everything went as smoothly as it could have gone. It was a VBAC. They told me that like not to get my hopes up essentially, because things can quickly go from like you can have your VBAC to suddenly you're going in for a C-section. So to keep my, not get my hopes up, but to be prepared for that to be a possibility. So I was preparing for that to be a possibility. I even told them as we were checking in, like the most important thing to me is that she comes out safe. So if things start to go like off track a little bit, just put me in the C-section room because her health is the most important to me. But everything went so smoothly. I've been recovering so well after getting the blood patch. It was such like a magical experience and a fast experience compared to like Emma was a 24-hour labor. This was 12 hours, I would say, I guess, but I don't even think that's active labor. That's just from very beginning when I woke up at 12:30 to her being born at 12:30, 12 hours later. It feels much faster than when with Emma, I was admitted for an induction at 10 p.m. and she was born at 10:10 p.m. the next day. The boys was really quick too, but that's because I went into labor before my scheduled C-section. So it just was very fast, very like calming, welcoming presence, and all the nurses and doctors were so amazing. So I couldn't have asked for a better like birthing experience. And I feel like it was the perfect way to end our like family season of growing our family. And now we have plans to schedule birth control methods and all of that, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. Not right now, it's not a concern because I'm only 10 days postpartum, but we're trying to figure that out. But I just feel like it was the perfect way to end that journey as our family. And it makes me like sad to say that, but also really excited. Like I know that this is the perfect number for our family, and I don't know how to explain why I know that, but I just do. Like I feel like this is it and it's perfect. And she has been just the greatest little addition to our family. The kids adore her. Justin and I adore her. She's easy. She sleeps so well compared to the boys. So it's been a wild change going from twins back to one baby, but it's just been such a great, I don't know, it's just been such a great couple of days having her home with us. My mom was supposed to come out and visit like immediately after we came home from the hospital, but she ended up having some heart complications and she has to get a procedure done before she can fly, which she found out literally the day before I went into labor, which is, she was really heartbroken over it. I was really sad too, but hopefully she'll be able to come out maybe in a month or two to see her and visit. But pray for my mom because she's really having a hard time not being able to be here. But other than that, things have been going so well. So welcome to the family, sweet girl. This is Faye, Dorothea Beth, if you missed her name reveal. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited to start putting out vlogs again now that I'm starting to feel better. And just back to the normally scheduled type of motherhood content. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.